change at the top in Germany. Tonight in Italy it is first against fourth, Inter unbeaten, but Roma 6 wins out of 6 so far.
Inter are right up there amongst the big boys. What a goal! Roma march on. Top of Serie A once more.
And what a story for the romantics like yourself it is. Roma back on top, back in the big time, and Rudy Garcia has made such an incredible start to life in one of the toughest leagues in world football. How's it happened?
He's been fantastic. You know, the fans love him because he plays attacking football. The players love him because he's an ex-athletic preparation coach. He's kept them fit, and he's honest with them. If he has a problem with them, he tells them to the face. And the media love him because he's smooth, he's suave, he's good in press conferences, and it's just an exciting.
He's the man with everything.
Yeah, he's got the lot.
Including, makes you sick, doesn't it? Including a defence that doesn't concede.
Yeah.
Bia, he looks a tremendous player. He's the only player in Serie A, the Parma player, who's scored against Roma so far this season. How has that happened defensively that Roma looks so much, almost impregnable at the moment?
Well, I mean, the real story's been the centre-backs. I mean, they've got, in Benatia, they've got a Rolls-Royce of a defender. And next to him, they've got Leandro Castan, who some are calling the new Thiago Silva. Because these guys, they defend, they do the basics very, very well, but they're also proactive, athletic, and Benatia likes to go on the odd dribble, so he's entertaining to boot.
And at the other end, in the attacking sense, he seems to have rejuvenated players who needed a home and needed somebody to put an arm around them and say, you can do a job.
Yeah, he's told Florenzi and Gervinho to play high. He wants his wide men to play high, and he's also helped Totti out, because Totti's legs aren't what they were, but the supporting cast.
And Laic as well, of course, we shouldn't overlook him.
Yeah, and Laic, a fantastically tricky player. Hopefully he'll come on from the bench this evening.
And what is the little bit of magic that he's been able to sprinkle in the ear and in the minds of these players, do you think?
Well, he's made sure that the defensive platform, which also includes Strootman and Daniele De Rossi, has let people like Pjanic and Florenzi, as we've mentioned, and Totti express themselves. Because you can only attack this freely if you know that behind you, De Rossi and the centre-backs are taking care of, you know, not conceding.
Inter also changed manager, didn't they?
Yeah, Inter got Mazzarri in, and after a quite shaky start in pre-season, he's rebuilt a team that last year, again, was low on confidence. There were always good players there, but they had a disaster last year.
It's less of a surprise, perhaps, Raphael, that Walter Mazzarri and Inter, not only does that look a good marriage, but the results are being seen already. Would that be fair?
To an extent, although I don't think people thought they would be quite as good this season, because you know, this is still a team in transition. This is still a team that's finding its way after the great generation of the Mourinho guys. The Senators are slowly but surely being edged out of the door, and you haven't quite seen that many new guys of a similar stature coming in to take Inter forward. So this is a side that's developing, and I think Mazzarri has developed them quicker and taken them further than anyone anticipated, because they're being seen now as genuine title contenders, which was not something that too many people would have said at the beginning of the season.
It's a fascinating prospect, and let's get out there to enjoy it this evening. We'll bring in our commentary team, Stuart Robson, and first, good evening to Peter Drury.
Paul, good evening to you, and welcome all. This is the sole focus of the San Siro week. Nowhere around the major leagues of the continent will you find a bigger match this weekend in which neither side has been affected by a European diversion in the days leading up. Neither Inter nor Roma sit comfortably with the idea of exclusion from the Grand Continental competitions. Both expect to be involved in them again next year. But in the immediate term, that state of affairs means that these two great clubs, and look at the level of the support for them, these two great clubs, these two unbeaten teams, come face to face here with all of their eggs in this basket. And the San Siro is full. Nothing else here feels as though it matters. It is a fixture which has caught the imagination in Milan and in Rome. A fixture whose facts speak for themselves. 6 games in and neither team has lost. 33 Serie A goals between them, 17 different scorers, the two most prolific attacks in the league. Just 4 Serie A goals conceded between them, the two tightest defences in the league. Two clubs who finished last season outside the top 5, but who start this weekend inside the top 4. It is a game whose recent history lends itself to Roman optimism. Roma have taken 4 points from Inter in each of the last 2 seasons. It is 2.5 years, 7 League and Cup meetings since Inter last came out on top. Disappointing campaigns for both last time around, but things have taken a very positive turn. The referee is Paolo Tagliavento, who was in charge the last time Inter beat Roma, actually, as I say, 2.5 years ago, February 2011. He sent off Roma's Nicolas Badiso that day, and Inter won 5-3. So something along those lines tonight would keep us glued to it. Palacio already amongst the goals. Taider back in midfield for Inter, who are enjoying being back, Stuart, where they and their fans feel they belong, right in the mix.
Certainly Inter have had a good start to the season, but even better have been Roma. Some of their football's been exhilarating, the way they're getting the best out of Totti. You talked about Florenzi and Gervinho playing high and wide. The reason they can do that is because Totti, the main striker, has kicked on coming back into midfield to set up the play. They try and overload that area, and that's what Inter have got to try and counter-attack. And Cambiasso will be at the fore. He's a really good defensive midfield player, Cambiasso.
What an impact Rudy Garcia has made. Both coaches here immediately embraced by those who pay their wages. But before the football, a few moments to ponder human tragedy, the Lampedusa tragedy of just the other day. 350 people dead after a boat carrying asylum seekers caught fire and sank off Lampedusa in Italian waters not far from Sicily. A dreadful, dreadful event. And Mazzarri have suffered what you might consider their first minor setback of the season. Dropped points at Cagliari last Sunday. Still hardly inclined to depart far from the core which has served them and him so well to this point. Roma, of course, still fewer reasons to alter things. Their near-perfect start has made it tough, if anyone, for the excluded players who can hardly knock very hard on the manager's door. And sure enough, Garcia goes with an unchanged 11. So who knows how long these two will be live competitors in the race for the title. The suspicion remains that Napoli and Juventus may, over the long haul, be a notch too strong. But for now, we can only deal with facts, and they are that nobody in Serie A has yet beaten Inter, and that Roma have beaten everyone they have faced so far. Near perfect form, and this looks like a near perfect matchup. Stuart, it really is hard even to have a hunch about this one.
It certainly is. Both play with different systems. Inter play with a back three, as Mazzarri did at Napoli. It's a system they tried to play under Gasperini, and it was an ill-fated system. Mazzarri knows how to play it. The two wing-backs will have to get high and wide, Nagatomo and Pereira. And as we know, Roma playing with a back four, with that great positional rotation.
Firm team news, couple of changes for Inter. Safir Taider comes into midfield in place of Matteo Kovacic, and a recall, unsurprisingly up front, for Rodrigo Palacio. He scored in League and Cup against Roma last year. He replaces Ishak Belfodil. The Roma team, as mentioned, entirely and again unsurprisingly unchanged.
Just looking at Rossi's position, started the game in between the two centre halves. There you see him right in the middle of the picture. Benatia on one side, Castan the other. Now Rossi's gone into his normal midfield position. He will keep going from that centre half position into a deep line midfield role.
Mazzarri looking long, Totti the other side of the halfway line now. Pereira. First time this evening, and then Pjanic. Three-man midfield, which has tipped along so smoothly to this point, almost without perceptible error. There's been a certainty about so much of what they've done. She speaks volumes. French overseer. Here's Palacio, who has scored so freely up to this point this season, but hasn't played Roma every week. And they are just not conceding. Foul by Strootman. Juan. Header out by Balzaretti. Cambiasso. Out wide for Guarin, who's got away from Balzaretti. Guarin is shut down importantly by Leandro Castan, and Inter have the first corner.
Good bit of play by Guarin. You know he's got a really fearsome shot on it with that right foot. There he gets past Balzaretti. And Castan just blocks the cross into the box.
Ricky Alvarez to take. By Palacio, but fruitlessly and gathered industriously by Totti. He got out of a bit of a corner there and delivered a promising pass for Florenzi, and now Gervinho with Strootman hurrying forward into the box as well. Gervinho lifted out by Taider. Linking things. Rossi. Torosidis behind the Greek fullback. He scored the decisive goal in the Coppa semi-final at Inter in April. A reminder that they met 4 times in League and Cup last year, a couple of legs of that semi-final and the 2 Serie A fixtures. Here's Alvarez.
His left boot. Took a while to settle down at Inter, but certainly Mazzarri's getting the best out of him at the moment. He will play as the second striker, but he'll drift out wide at times.
Let's take it again from Totti. Florenzi in early for Gervinho, who has springs in his heels. One of those who seems to have changed as a player since he's changed club.
What they are forcing is Pereira, the wing-back, to go almost back as another left-back. Not really what Inter want to be doing. Here's the switcher play out to Torosidis. Could be a very valuable pass for Roma.
Torosidis, Gervinho. Against the Pjanic now. Roma won last year's Serie A game here at the San Siro 3-1 fairly early on in the campaign, despite the sending off late in that game of Pablo Rolando, now Southampton. They drew at the Olympic Stadium in January and then had those 2 legs of the semi-final Roma won both of those. So Totti arriving stop to start with Nagatomo, no damage done.
Quite sure how the referee sees that as a foul. Both players were sliding in. Good tackle, good honest tackle by both of them.
Cambiasso. Nicely moved on by Alvarez. Alvaro Pereira. Away from Torosidis. Taider. Guarin calling for it. Pereira wide. And a good form challenge by Castan, off the back of which Savinho can break here for Roma. And run at Juan. Savinho. It's going to be a corner.
Yeah, I think Ranocchia just gets across in time. Taider was saying that he was fouled initially by Castan. Once they counter-attack, this man has been in dynamic form. Ranocchia just getting back to get the block in. As Pereira was high up the field, he was looking for the switch of play, the initial switch of play.
Savinho 3 goals in his last 2 games. Rejuvenated player. Pjanic goes to the near post. He is Pereira's problem. Quite a posse around the penalty spot. To break as pre-rehearsed. Lifted in deep towards Savinho. Out for Palacio, who has options in either direction. And there are plenty flowing forward here for Inter. And Palacio is through the middle. Nagatomo.
I think it's fair to say, a little bit wasteful from Nagatomo. Didn't make his mind up what he was trying to do. Roma got a lot of players back. There is that shot from Guarin. We're talking about his right foot. He's got a very powerful strike on him, the into midfield player. Whenever he gets the ball, the crowd will demand him to shoot.
The San Siro becomes a different place on nights like this, when it feels as though the wind is in the home team's sails. There's a certain belief. A week ago we were watching AC Milan in here when one of the ends was closed and 2/3 of the seats were empty. There's a kind of listlessness which feels out of place in a stadium as grand as the San Siro. Tonight the atmosphere lives up to billing. The seats are full. It's effervescent, bubbling.
And the pitch is in good condition over the years. San Siro hasn't always been a good pitch. It is at the moment.
Rossi, Mazzarri, catch, Strootman, Torosidis, showed too much of it to Cambiasso, lifted out by Taider. Headed from Rossi. Having a few minor points made to him by a series of individuals, and expected to be a competitive, edgy game. By Rolando. By Palacio. Nagatomo thought about it. Taider just might. Sanctis was down.
It opened up for him in that midfield area. Nagatomo playing the ball square. Roma couldn't get tight to him before he got the shot away. Interesting just to see the front players, Alvarez and Palacio, just pulling out wide in those situations and allowing the midfield players to run through the middle.
It's over for Guarin. Luis Palacio behind him. Taider is furthest forward for Inter now. Cambiasso. Alvarez. Taider. Cambiasso. Alvarez. Too much for Pereira.
There's that strike from Taddei. Sanctis does well just to hang on to it. Bounces nastily in front of him. Doesn't quite make the perfect contact. The players rushing in, one from either side. He was an excellent goalkeeper for Napoli under Mazzarri.
Away from home tonight, of course, but the last goal he conceded in a competitive home game was actually scored for Inter at Napoli on the 5th of May. It was a Ricky Alvarez penalty. Nobody has scored against it in a home game since. He's just conceded that one goal to Jonathan Gabbiani for Parma, which we saw before the game, in the whole of his Roma career so far. It's 9 hours, 12 minutes, 52 seconds and counting.
I wondered what was in store for him when Reina went to Napoli, but it's been a really good move for him.
Alvarez, smart turn to take that was. Beautiful track back. Guarin. So characteristically let it slip away. That's Florenzi. And now Totti. And then Gervinho. He can run at Rolando. And set it back for Totti. In by Rossi. Just too much for Florenzi. Pjanic has also been in peak form in the early weeks of this season. To collect.
It wasn't quite the right pass from Totti. He was just rolling it to Rossi so he could run onto it and get the strike away. Just overhit it. All that Rossi did in the end was just scoop it towards that far post area. There's 2 or 3 balls that Palacio's now won in the air, up against much bigger players. I don't think he's been known for his heading ability.
I think they're good balls. He was only 5'9". There's not a lot of him by comparison with the hefty centre-halves he's dealing with. Florenzi. Pjanic. Oh, had a little top back at Taider there. He's got to be booked for that.
Good closing down from Inter. It went into Pjanic. 3 players got round it, pitched the ball off. He knew there was a counter-attack on, so just pulled the shirt of the Inter player. Talking about what a difference a year makes. Pjanic last season under Zeman wasn't very happy, wanted to leave the club. Now he's doing really well.
He was actually sent off by this referee in Napoli in January. Sao Paulo. Yes, he's started now all 7 games in Serie A this season. Amongst the first picks. Against Palacio in favour of Benatia.
Played very well, Benatia, last week. That brilliant 5-0 win against Bologna. Scored a goal as well.
Guarin. By Cambiasso. Palacio was preparing to let fly. It's come back to Alvarez. Guarin held up by Balzaretti. Little steal from Gervinho. Ranocchia just about got away with it by the breadth of his big toe.
I've seen a lot of Ranocchia over the years. Never been 100% convinced by him. He's now playing as the middle centre-half in that three. At one point he was playing as the right-sided centre-half and it didn't suit him, because he always wanted the wing-back to come back and mark his man, so he always ended up being the spare player, which caused Inter a problem.
Cambiasso. Back from Palacio, had a fly. Especially close. It's worthy of further explanation, Stuart, for our viewers. What would be the difference technically from Ranocchia or anyone's point of view, a centre-half playing the central position as opposed to one of the wider positions?
Well, when he was playing on the right of the three, and the problem is, what do you ask the wing-back to do? Come back and mark the winger, or do you go out there and mark him or deal with it yourself? Well, Ranocchia never wanted to go out there and deal with it, so he asked Nagatomo to come back, so it meant the full-back for the opposition was always spare, and I always think that was what allowed other teams, particularly Fiorentina, they won the game comfortably, and I put everything down to the Ranocchia's positioning. In the middle, he doesn't have to make too many decisions.
Balzaretti, Florenzi, Gervinho, Totti scores brilliantly for Roma. It's a fine, fine goal, and they just roll on, and he goes on forever. Roma's eternal number 10.
Well, I think we're seeing this is a brilliant strike from him. Cuts across the ball. Might even start outside the post and just bends in. He tried to set up Rossi a little while ago and overhit his pass, but this one was absolutely perfect for him. It was actually a mistake by Ranocchia in amongst all that. There it is. Just controls the ball when it goes into him. Gervinho sets him up, and there it is. It just starts outside the post and bends in. A brilliant strike. There's a lot of players around it who try and close him down. You can't say that Inter didn't close him down. But what a start for Roma.
And in these colours for Francesco Totti, a 284th goal. He came into Serie A with his hometown team in 1992, and 2 decades on, he is still lighting it up. His 685th game for them tonight, and just another superb strike.
My judgment on Ranocchia hasn't changed after that bit of miscontrol. That was what set the play up. It was an easy ball for him to deal with. He didn't deal with it, and suddenly Gervinho has time and space just to find the run of Totti.
Castan. It's now at home. Bit to chess. Alvarez. Long way to go. 70 minutes left in the game. Cambiasso. I guess this season has been such that they'll be resolute of mindset and no mood to panic.
Here's the goal again. It's good play from Gervinho. He waits for Totti to make the run around him. Rolls it perfectly into his path. Still, he had to get the technique right. Just cutting across the ball, fading it into the corner of the net.
Roma, who have been behind this season for a grand total of 8 minutes, are ahead again now. Inter have been behind themselves before. Until today, they had trailed for a grand total of 12 minutes over the season to Fiorentina. Came back and won that game late. And now they are required to come from behind once more. Just out with good oversight by Torosidis.
Good run from Torosidis. Pjanic had time on the ball. He just changed the angle of his run. Defender just about did enough there.
Gervinho. Balzaretti steaming up outside of him. So Gervinho's ball was imprecise, so he's Let's go and win it back. Mazzarri against Guarin. Nagatomo helped by Guarin. His clearance isn't the greatest either. Pjanic, towed out by Cambiasso. Video. Made a mug of Rolando. Juan's header out, and Rolando down for Guarin.
Well, there's a real problem for Rolando. I think he's terrified by Gervinho. He's backing off, and it's making it easy for Gervinho then to twist and turn him.
Did seem to afford him more time and space than you would have expected then, didn't he?
Well,
he's very easily beat.
The one player on the field that looks like he's going to run with the ball and cause problems is Gervinho. So you've got to stop him starting to run at you. He's got to get much tighter. He's got to confront him earlier and make Gervinho actually beat him rather than just run into the space with the ball. Maybe a little bit unfair on Alvarez saying that Gervinho is the only player on the field. That's not quite true.
Ranocchia, Rolando in possession where he doesn't want to be. Not sure Handanovic was too keen on having it, nor Ranocchia. And between them, those three Inter players have made a right pig's ear of that.
Crazy to say that Ranocchia is usually in the Italian squad. Very good Italian squad it is these days.
Already qualified for the World Cup finals with 2 games to come over the next week or two. They travel to Copenhagen to take on Denmark and finish their World Cup qualifying campaign with a dead rubber, but a useful friendly, as it turns out, against Armenia in Naples next week. Torosidis, Gervinho. What a crucial tackle that was, going back by Alvaro Pereira.
Well, it looked as though Gervinho was going to pull the trigger there. Just cut back onto his left foot. It's a great recovery tackle, as you said.
Pereira. Palacio. Freddie Guarin. Oh, what a hit! And the goal is still shuddering.
Well, that's what we're talking about with Guarin. He has got a magnificent strike with that right boot. You can't give him time. You see the Roma players trying to rush out and get the block in, but he hits it with such power. 3 players try to get the block in. But he hits it with such accuracy usually and power. Well, he can't do much more than that. Sanctis is lucky that it doesn't hit him on the way through.
Well, that is hit the outside of the top of off stump. Serie A tomorrow on ESPN. Napoli against Livorno. Napoli right at the top of the pile, of course. And then after that afternoon game, we have Sunday night football. James Richardson will oversee coverage of another absolute belter. Stop in his line by Sanctis.
There's a good cross into the box. Ricky Alvarez jumps higher than Castan. Decent save from the Sanctis, but what a good cross that was from the left-hand side. Ricky Alvarez showing he's not just a skillful player, can leap in the air as well.
To finish the parish notices, tomorrow night's game in Sunday night football is Juventus Milan. Programme starts 6:45, game starts 7:45. And more or less the same time tomorrow, the big game in French football, Marseille against Paris Saint-Germain. We're on air on BT Sport 2 from 7:30.
Was it a foul by Balzaretti? Well, they're claiming that his shirt was being tugged. It's been an excellent first 26 minutes. It was that run by Torosidis. Here was the mistake by Ranocchia that led to the goal. But there is the goal. Nothing that Handanovic can do about it.
Palacio, Cambiasso let it run, Taider. Held up by Pjanic. For Pereira. Palacio gives his throw. Cambiasso. Everywhere did for Benatia. It comes together clearly outside the penalty area. Alvarez and Benatia, and the Moroccan is going to see yellow for that.
I'm not quite sure that Ricky Alvarez is claiming for a penalty. It's just outside the box. Benatia can't win that ball. It's a throw-in just down the side of the front player. Benatia tries to win it in front of him. He's just got to let him have that and then try and defend and force him away from goal. It's a silly foul. He's got no chance of winning the ball. He has to go through Ricky Alvarez to get there. And it's just a foot or so outside the box.
Taider over it with Alvarez. Target area for a direct hit is pretty limited. Two in the wall. Rolando on the line. He did go for that limited target area. Sanctis saw the net ripple but from the outside.
A bit of a waste. Taider trying to bend it in at that near post. Very difficult to go down the side of the wall and still get it on target. Ball being set up correctly by Sanctis.
Palacio. Like handball, and Vento did spot it. The defender is Castan. Is in position of some peril for Roma. And they now have 3 players with a yellow card against their names inside the first half hour, including both centre-halves.
Well, that's the biggest worry. Both centre-halves who are going to have to make tackles at some point. Just sticks his elbow on that. And it's handball, there's no question about it. And Alvarez, we've seen Guarin can hit them with pace. The Alvarez can bend them round the wall.
This, by marked contrast with the last free kick, is just about plumb centre. Target area is substantial. The distance, more or less, ideal in terms of up and down. Taider and Alvarez offering right or left. The Sanctis with plenty to cover. Taider.
Well, it certainly had the pace on it. Sanctis, I'm not sure would have got across, but much too high from the midfield player. There it is. He overran the ball, realised it wasn't going to be on his chest. A waste in the end.
From Taider, but assistance matched by Totti's. A yellow card shown to Juan here. The challenge from Taider was the untidier of the two.
I think Juan just blocked the route of Totti towards the ball. It was a very easy yellow card for the big centre-half. Talking about centre-halves at one end, another centre-half is going to be under a bit of pressure, particularly if Gervinho starts running at him on that far side. Gervinho's come to this near side for the moment.
Pjanic off his long run.
So that seemed to gather pace as it flew through the air. Just not dipping in time. Interesting technique. Didn't look as though he was trying to hit it too hard, just hit the back of the ball. Seen Pirlo do that on many occasions for Juventus in recent times, and of course for Italy.
Juan. Palacio. Castan. Alvarez couldn't keep it. He tried to turn away from Cambiasso, who wasn't having that. Back with vigour by Strootman, and he's got a free kick.
And then Taider was a little bit late on the next challenge. On Totti. Totti didn't like it. Foul had already been given. Free kicks given there, and then watch the next challenge. Then it goes in on Totti. Totti was upset.
Doesn't take much to light his fuse, does it? But it's well and truly lit.
He looks determined today, doesn't he? Don't often see him running around trying to tackle people. He's the artisan, getting on the ball, making things happen.
By Rossi, who's quickly off the scene of the crime, acknowledging that indeed he has crossed the line there.
Yeah, he knew he couldn't win it with his head, couldn't stop himself in the end. Once again, he was between the two centre-halves on that occasion.
There's another one who's got the wrong side of 30 now, but shows no signs of ageing in terms of performance. Played every minute of this season for club and country. Rossi. Alvarez working it with Guarin. Totti. Tough again by Alvarez. Nagatomo. Nicely done, Palacio. Down by Rossi, who just knew where to be.
Brilliant from Rossi. Holding midfield player, realises one of the centre-halves is out of position, just drops back and deals with the situation. That's what he's so good at doing.
Juan. Pereira. Looking for Benatia. Mazzarri also battling for it. Drawing a challenge from Guarin, which is penalised.
Jumping into Balzaretti. Balzaretti last week played most of the game in the opponent's half, driving forward against Bologna, getting crosses in, shots in. Today he's had to do much more defensive work. Not seems too much of Strootman in midfield either. Struggled to get involved in the game. He's had to do a lot of good defensive work. Hasn't really got on the ball.
The Dutchman did contribute 8 goals for PSV last season in the Eredivisie. Just the one from the penalty spot against Parma so far in his Italian career. Torosidis pressurising Taider. Cambiasso. Challenge from Taider. Up comes Guarin. Flying in all over the place now, Taider.
Good play from Florenzi. Got back into a good defensive position.
Left in by Pereira. He's having to do that a fair bit, isn't he, Florenzi? Perhaps more of the game in his own half than ideally he would want. Cambiasso. Alvarez. Pereira. Mazzarri has stayed down and indicates that he took a bit. Was it from Guarin?
It was from Guarin. Guarin making the late run into the box. Well, it's a jump for the ball, and I think his heel just catches Balzaretti. Balzaretti and the Roma players are trying to make more of it, but I think it's a complete accident from Guarin. He actually gets up very high with the jump as well, doesn't he? Shows how high he gets. There's the stud marks.
It's not made up, that's for sure. Juan. Bit off more than he could chew there, and he's got a fair way to get back. And Trevino wants feet taken away, and it's a penalty. Foul by Alvaro Pereira on Trevino. Pereira's in the book. Worse still for Inter. They are within a penalty kick of a 2-goal deficit here.
Well, they can play on the counter-attack, Roma, because of this man, Trevino's pace. Oh, it's right on the line, isn't it? Which means it should be a penalty. It's a good run. He goes past Cambiasso on one side, then goes down the side. Pereira, who tries to make the challenge before he gets into the box. And I think the referee and the assistant referee are just about right with that one.
It's a one-man queue for a Roma penalty. Who else did you expect? What else did you expect? Totti, always. Immaculate once more. He's scored from 20 yards. He's now scored from 12. And it's Inter 0, Roma 2.
Well, Handanovic makes a really good effort here. He chooses the right way. It's just the right height for him. But I think the pace and the power of Totti's shot just about beats him. What a first half Roma have had. Haven't been in complete control in terms of where the ball's been played or the possession's been. Touch and go with it was inside the box. Just beats him for power. Really good penalty from Totti. They're a team playing with confidence.
This is a Roma team which this season now, over 6.5 games, leads 19-1. They came into this game as the first team to win 6 of their first 6, conceding just 1 goal at the start of a season since Inter in 1966-67. More than 4 decades on, they're looking even to better that record.
Last year under Zeman, I would imagine their goal tally was about 19 in the same amount of games, but it would be 19 against as well. System's been changed, the mentality's been changed. Really good coaching from Garcia. He's the man with the problems, Mazzarri now.
Well, he will be aware. Roma have only let in 1 goal all season, and But to save anything from this game, Inter have to score 2 in half a game. It could get even worse with Pjanic looking to attack it.
I think Rolando gets a really good header in right at the last minute here. Pjanic, we haven't seen too much of that, making a run into the box. The cross is almost perfect from that far side, Florenzi. Can't concede again here, Inter, before half-time.
To consider that neither of these teams are currently in European club competition, as both, whilst disappointed to find themselves in that predicament, would share the opinion that it offers them a particular opportunity this season. Fixture list, a calendar which lends itself to concentration on the Serie A campaign. Roma certainly seem in the collective mood to maximise that opportunity.
Might have to change it, Mazzarri. The back three, he'll always play with the back three, but the back three aren't coming out with the ball. Playing up against 2 wide players, and Totti's retreating into midfield. One of the back three have to come out with the ball and start moves going for Inter. Oh, but I like Campagnaro fit, because he does that brilliantly, or he did it brilliantly at Napoli.
Alvarez with the corner. What about that from Totti? And now off they go. Options in either direction. Here's Florenzi. Oh, fabulous! Now that is a counter-attack. Roma score their third from an Inter corner. Brilliantly finished by Alessandro Florenzi. But think about where that began, with audacity in a defensive position from Francesco Totti. That was ridiculously good.
Oh, it certainly was. Great composure, awareness of others around him. Strootman does well to race forward with the ball, pick the right time to play the pass. Here it is again. Now Strootman running with the ball. Keeps going, it's an overload now. He's got to pick out the right pass. And I don't think they were expecting to hit it first time, Florenzi. Juan's ambling out there. Goalkeeper's not ready for it, Handanovic, but there's nothing they could do about it anyway. What a great strike. What a great half it has been for Roma.
Alessandro Florenzi scored against Inter in League and Cup last season. And he has another here at the San Siro. And as good as Inter have been in the early weeks of this season, it is hard to see a way back for them now against a Roma team which is simply overflowing with confidence. It expects to score every time it has the ball. No need to add anything on to that. It has been a joy to behold, particularly for Roman folk, whose hero number 1 has scored 2 of their goals and helped to make ended by Florenzi a minute from time. At half-time in the San Siro, it is Inter 0, Roma 3, and we're